kasi kahapon pa, we were talking na about yung, yung PCIJ story. You were quoted here in the story where at least two, hindi pa candidates how do we call them? Well, sabi natin si Amy tsaka si Camille. Amy Marcos, Camille Villar, running for the Senate, spent more than 1 billion pesos in ad values. Let's call it that siguro. In advertising, broadcast advertising values from January hanggang September lang of 2024. 1 billion pesos. It's a magnificent number, and that's far pa before the actual campaign period. Actually, they also published a list yung mga the top 5, top 6, top 7 spenders at least for that period. Pero sir, to begin with ba, is this anything illegal? Is there anything illegal with this? And if it's not illegal, then is there something wrong with this?
Well, if we're talking about campaign, technically there is yet no campaigning to speak of, because when you talk about campaign under our laws, it means that we are already in the campaign period, which will still start in February. I think February 12 for national officials and somewhere in the last week of March.
Feb 11 ata ang national and March 28 ang local.
Okay, yeah. So wala pang kandidato. Pag walang kandidato, technically walang campaign. No? So legally and from the point of view of election law, wala pa talagang nagkakampanya at hindi mo maaaring sabihin na under election law illegal yung ginagawa nila.
Okay. So hindi pa siya illegal. Pero what do you think of it? The numbers. What do you think of it?
Masyadong mind-boggling yung numbers, no? At kaya nga ang aking sinasabi parati diyan siguro kalimutan muna natin kung paminsan-minsan yung ibig sabihin ng campaigning at kandidato sa eleksyon, dahil hindi na po relevant 'yon sa ating kasi wala naman pwedeng mag-object pag sasabihin natin ang objective talaga nila para manalo sa eleksyon. They've spent so much money for to raise their stock in sa contest na kung saan sila tumatakbo. So that's from kung hindi man sa batas, from the definition of campaigning by Mr. Webster, campaigning 'yon. Hindi nga lang sila makukulong, pero siguro tingin ko mahalagang malaman din ng tao at lumabas itong mga istoryang ito. Magkano ba ang ginagastos? Dahil hindi natin tinatanong yun
Oo nga
Mr. Dia, sabi niyo walang kandidato, but they all have already filed their certificates of candidacy. And in fact, yung basis sa pag-imprinta ng balota. In fact, magtatapon tayo ngayon ng 4 na milyon na balota dahil yung isang kandidato for the Senate nakakuha ng TRO sa Supreme Court. So, kandidato na sila, hindi ba?
Ito yung nakakatawa. Tayo ho nagkakaintindihan sa anumang definition kandidato sila, except our laws. No? Yung batas ang iba. Kasi ang sabi kung naaalala nyo po dati, yung last day of filing of certificate of candidacy, the day before the election period, nung manual pa po yung election. Yeah. Diba? But because nag-adapt ng automated election na kailangang malantad yung mga pangalan dahil i-imprenta mo ngayon yung pangalan sa balota. Hindi ka kaya dati, isusulat mo lang, no? Hinayaan ng COMELEC ng isang batas, yung Republic Act 9369, para agahan yung pag-file ng Certificate of Candidacy. Kung ganun lang sana yung authority ng COMELEC allowed to advance the deadline for filing certificate of candidacy, yung nag-file ng certificate of candidacy, kandidato na.
Kaya
even
nga.
under yung traditional definition. Kaya lang may inagdag na praise dun sa batas. Ang sabi niya, hindi magiging epektibo at hindi valid yung mga violation until the start of the campaign period. Nilagay yun dun sa batas.
Yun ang basis for the Supreme Court ruling.
Well, actually, yung Supreme Court, sa tingin ko, ininterpret niya lang yung nasa batas. Hindi naman gumagawa ng batas ang Supreme Court. Di ba? Yung Penera versus COMELEC. Ang aking basa doon, the Supreme Court made the right decision interpreting a wrong law, a bad law. So batas yon. Ay, gusto ko lang kasi emphasize din yun. Dahil
Yes, sir.
yung, sino ba gumagawa ng batas?
Kongreso.
Sino ang pwede magpalit ng batas?
Kongreso rin.
So, kailangan
Sino ang
kailangan
bumoboto sa
i-amend
kanila
dyan.
year in and year, every election? Tayo. So siguro gusto natin yung ganong sitwasyon.
Pero sir, few people understand that
Kailangan
kasi.
palang i-amend yung batas na yon.
Every year po, iminumungkahi po yan. Kaya lang, hindi ko siguro ka-amen-amen doon sa ating mga binobotong nasa Kongreso.
Pero sir, kasi it's to the advantage of politicians
Yes.
running for public office to have the freedom to start campaigning, not campaigning, even before the campaign period, and wala pang bilangan ng election expenses. Di ba? Kasi doon lang magsisimula ang patak ng metro eh. So it's to the advantage of those people running for Congress and for the Senate not to amend the law.
Well, that explains why the law will not be amended.
Pero yung advantage na yan is for those with the resources.
The
With the resources, correct.
Kung wala kang kwarta, kaya nakikita mo yung dalawang, you know, it's a failure yan eh. Barya-barya lang sa bilyar yung 1 billion, ano. Di ba? Pero kung ikaw kulang-kulang ang resources mo, it's to your advantage na iksian lang yung campaign period at i-regulate yung campaign finance. Di ba?
Ma'am Ami, that's precisely why meron tayong campaign period. Sa US po, walang campaign period. No? Kaya tayo may campaign period para malimitahan yung period ng pangakampanya. Hindi rin para lumobra ang pamumulitika, no? I mean, it's also abhorrent, at least that's the policy reason for that. At yung mabawasan din yung gastos sa eleksyon. Nating bawasan yung gastos sa eleksyon para yung mga hindi kayang gumastos ng napakalaking halaga ng pera, meron silang fair chance of competing. At kung may fair chance silang mag-compete, may fair chance ang mga botante para pumili. 'Di ba? Kasi ngayon kahit magaling hindi tatakbo. So, nababawasan yung option sa choices ng mga botante. Yan po yung parang yan yung dysfunction ng ganyang sitwasyon.
Com, let me zero in on one particular question. Kasi I suppose you're talking about billions here. How can they afford this? How can they afford to spend this amount of money? Well, of course, sabi nga ni Ami, yung mga bilyar, mayaman naman yan. Si Manny Villar nga, I think in 2010, tumakbo siya. Wala siyang atang donor halos eh. By his own money. Si Amy Marcos spending 1 billion, more or less,
Drop in the bucket din yan, Eds, ha? Alam mo na.
So yun, may paliwanag ng kaunti doon whether we like the idea or not. Mukhang ano yun. Pero the others, for example, number 3 is Abby Binay with 580 million. Number 4 is Francis Tolentino with 417 million. Number 5 is Benhur Abalos with 314 million. We're talking about hundreds of millions, up to $500 million pesos here. Now, during an election period or during campaign period, they can get donors to pay for this. But before the campaign period, can politicians get donors of this amount without breaking the law or without breaking the code of conduct for public officials? Kasi hindi pa naman campaign period, wala pang technically dapat yan na, campaign donors forking out money for their campaign expenses. I'm warning lang. It's a hypothetical question on my part. Is it possible that can they legally get donations? Kasi I don't know if their SALNs would reach these amounts.
Well, unang-una, Ed, alam natin pag ang campaign donation duly reported is exempt from gift tax. No, yung donor's tax. Kasi, so ibig sabihin yan, kung meron mang donation prior to the campaign period, ibig sabihin hindi siya technically sa pangangampanya, naka-receive sila ng contribution na baka taxable. Yun lang yung nakikita kong implication noon.
They have to pay 30% ba yan? 20% tax? Donors tax.
Nasa tax law yan. Basta may buwis yan. Hindi yan exempt from taxation. No? pero hindi imposible. I mean, mas malaya silang tumanggap. Yun nga lang, magiging taxable yan. At siguro, ang kwan din dyan kasi, magandang tingnan kung saan galing. At maganda rin mag-usisa, whether within the context of yung electoral regulation, kung sino yung mga nagbigay sa kanila. Dahil, di ba't pag tayo iboboto, gusto rin nating malaman kung sino yung behind
Yung stakeholders sa likod nila.
Covered ba ng requirement to declare? Merong requirement na gano'n, di ba? You have to declare your donors and the amount. Before the official campaign period, covered ba yon?
Well, pag ang dinonate ay ginamit during the campaign period, required yon na isama doon sa tinatawag nating statement of contribution and expenditure. Okay? At meron ding ibang, meron pang another reporting requirement, yung report of donation, na obligasyon hindi lang ng kandidato, pati yung nag-donate. No? Yung nag-donate may obligasyon mag-report ng kanyang dinonate sa kandidato. Okay? So pag may papel na nagpapatunay na may donation na doon, may mga reportorial requirements na ganyan. Ngunit kung ang donation ay hindi ginamit within the campaign period, baka nga sabihin na hindi ito pangangampanya and therefore hindi covered doon sa reporting requirement.
Com, ito, I found a PCIG article from before, quoting kasama niya, si Commissioner Christian Robert Lim, head ng Campaign Finance Unit. Ang sabi niya, well, the implication is, if you receive, as a politician, if you receive a donation while in public office, nalabas doon sa campaign donations, which is reported naman nga, and that might be liability under the revised penal code. So, under the revised penal code, Lim continues, it is a criminal offense to receive gifts by reason of their office. This is called indirect bribery.
Well, kung incumbent siguro, di ba? Kung
Incumbent.
nakaupong opisyal, yung ganon, unless authorized, no? Baka nga may ganong klaseng liability.
Ito sir, Revised Penal Code Article 211, indirect bribery. The penalties of prisión correccional in its medium and maximum periods and public censure shall be imposed upon any public officer who shall accept gifts offered to him by reason of his office.
Ed, baka
Pero hindi
naman-
yan sa Code of Conduct.
Oh, yun ba?
Yung
Ano?
Republic Act, yung
6713.
Code of Conduct.
Yes, as Republic Act
Yun, specific yung mga
67
amounts doon.
6713,
Yes,
no?
sir.
Baka naman pera nila yon, sarili.
Sir, mahirap kuha ng salan ngayon eh. Tanong mo kay Ami, ang hirap kuha ng salan ngayon.
May nakabantay daw, may watchdog. Para hindi release. Pero isa pang tanong dyan, Commissioner. Ano yung from your experience? Accurate ba yung reporting? Di ba? Yung reporting ng campaign expenditures, saka may kapasidad ba yung COMELEC to verify?
Okay, unang-una nga, no, yun yung isang limitation na ng regulatory environment natin. Basically, yung statement of contribution and expenditure, parang income tax return, presumed to be valid and accurate until makita at ma-audit, no, na wala, no. Maraming sinasubmit sa COMELEC tungkol sa mga campaign finance actions, no. Ang COMELEC ngayon, meron siyang tinatawag nilang Political Finance Affairs Department, na kung saan nandoon yung mga humihimay ng mga papeles ng submissions ng mga kandidato. Remember, usually there are 48 to 50,000 candidates every election. Hindi pa yung barangay mas marami,
Mas marami.
no? So, obligasyon himayin lahat 'yon ng COMELEC, or well, kaya napakarami. At yung capacity, at inaamin din ng COMELEC noon, ay hindi pa ganon para ganong kalakas para magkaroon ng parang real time o kaya mas mabilis na pag-aanalisa ng mga dokumentong ito. Kaya ang paliwanag din naman sa amin, meron ho kasing PCIJ training din kahapon na nandun ako, nagbahagi din ho ako. At nandun yung taga-COMELEC, ang ibinaghagi nila. Kaya nga po, nagdi-digitize sila ng kanilang proseso, lalo na sa campaign finance unit, para maging mas available sa media, sa mga nag-aaral, yung mga dokumento at mga impormasyon ng mas mabilis. Siguro mga a few months or a few weeks after filing. Yun yung tinitingnan nila. Pero mano-mano pa rin sila ngayon. At kahit isa pa rin, medyo job order or contract of service pa rin ata yung mga na-hire doon. Although, may mga magagaling at gusto nilang mas i-institutionalize yung department na yon para makapag-recruit ng yung may kapasidad talaga at may skill para maghimay ng mga papeles.
Sir,
So you're saying may limited capacity. May limited capacity to verify ang COMELEC. That's
Yes.
what you're saying.
Okay, yes. Hindi pa ideal. Hindi ideal.
Yes.
Yung-
Pero meron, konti.
Meron marami na hong nakaasuhan ng overspending, maraming nakasuhan ng yung hindi pag-file ng SOSE, perpetual disqualification po 'yon. At siguro daan na rin ang may mga kaso ng ganun. So gumagalaw, considering na prior to 2011 or 2003, wala pong ganun. Halos wala.
Sir, now some candidates, maybe some of these guys might even insist na na baka your numbers are wrong, baka your estimates are wrong. Now, granted kasi sometimes kasi when you buy in bulk mga advertising spots, magbibigay ng discounting networks eh. So it's still also possible na the numbers are less than what is estimated here. That's why it's called ad values lang eh. But given that, even if the numbers are less than 1 billion, for example, for either Aimee or for Camille, what do these numbers tell you? What are the implications of these numbers? What do you think are the implications of these numbers? As far as us, the public, the voting public is concerned, what should we think? What should we feel about these numbers? What should we do about these numbers?
Unang-una, siguro napakamahal pala ng eleksyon. Number 2, yung mga may pera lang ang kayang tumakbo. So, sub-implication noon, yung mga magagaling na walang pera, hindi nabibigyan ng taong bayan para mapili sila o makonsidera. Dahil hindi sila tatakbo, dahil walang pera. No? At pangatlo, siguro maganda rin yung tanungin, no? Yung bakit ba gumagastos ng katakot-takot ng halaga ng pera ang mga kakandidato para sa sweldo na hindi naman aabot sa siguro 1/5 or 1/100 nung kanilang sisweldohin, no? I'm not saying that yung mga tumatakbo ay may masamang balak. Ayaw kong sabihin yun, ayaw kong isipin yun. Pero
Sabihin niyo pa, sir.
siguro yung burden para ipaliwanag yun ay nasa kandidato at dapat tinatanong. Kung may paliwanag sila, fine. Pero dapat may obligasyon silang ipaliwanag yon. At kailangan din magtanong ng taong bayan, bakit ka ba gumagas? Ano ba yung nandyan? Ano ba makukuha natin dyan?
What's in it for you, no?
What is in it for you? I mean, that's a question that I think should be directed to all candidates running for public office. Pwede nilang ipaliwanag yun. Baka naman may paliwanag na malinaw.
Baka it's all altruism.
Sa kanila.
Baka it's simply altruism
Public service.
and public service on the part of
Hindi, and what's in it for the donor? Kasi yan ang sinasabi din ng mga tao, ang corruption dito sa Pilipinas nag-uumpisa sa kampanya eh. Diyan magkakaroon ng quid pro quo siyempre ikakashin mo investment mo kapag nanalo yung manok mo, di ba? Yan ang sinasabi nila. In fact, may tinanong na ako, may ilang kandidato na akong tinanong, yung mga question na tinatanong nyo. Sabi ko, anong payback niya? Napakalaki ng gastos nyo. Anong payback sa'yo? Saka dun sa donor. Pare-pareho sinagot na nila sa akin, motherhood statement. Hindi naman kailangan mag-payback. Ang pinakamagaling payback, public service.
para sa bayan.
Okay, tanggap naman natin yung mga sagot na gano'n, di ba?
Ah.
Yun yung punto eh. Walang usisa eh. And we just have to do that. I mean otherwise ganun pa rin ang mangyayari ngayon sa susunod na election, sa mga susunod pa. It's really making it a political issue. Sa tingin ko lang ho, na magmamatter sa success sa election, yung pagsagot sa mga tanong na yon. Actually, pwedeng ganun lang yung issue eh. Saan mo kinuha ang panggastos mo at bakit napakalaki ang ginagastos mo? Parang yun yung pinakamagandang tanong sa lahat ng mga kandidato. Across the board, ano man yung partido. Kasi, kung yung nga sinabi mo, Ami, no? In fact, Section 7 ng United Nations Convention Against Corruption, requirement yung transparency ng donations sa kandidato. Nandoon yon. So, nare-recognize yung connection ng political campaign sa good governance, sa kayang anti-corruption initiative. Kasi doon nga nagsisimula yung mga yung corruption, yung tinatawag nilang political corruption, no? Kaya ang hindi lang electoral yung issue ng campaign finance or political finance eh. Issue rin ng good governance yan eh.
But binding yan, yung Convention on Corruption na yon, which we have ratified. Pwede ba natin i-invoke yan? Total, wala tayong makaasa sa Kongreso ng remedial legislation. Can we invoke it? It's binding and the states are required to cooperate, hindi ba?
Okay, ang execution po yon ang pagko-comply ng state is to pass laws and regulation or adopt policies that will make donations transparent and accessible to the media, for instance, or civil society. So dapat may ganon. No? Sa ngayon, yung pa rin yung ating 1985 election code ang nag-define ng ating requirements for transparency ng mga campaign donation.
Okay.
Pero kailangan, may sanction ba yan? Because it's binding. Alam ko binding yung convention na yan eh. May sanction ba dun sa magva-violate? Halimbawa, citizen, taxpayer, i-invoke yung convention para to compel Congress. Pasan yung ato legislation na to para hindi ganyang ka-opaque yung mga campaign finance natin. May sanction ba pag hindi nag-comply yung state?
Well, internationally, gusto ko pang pag-aralan yun, Ami, no? Baka hindi ko rin masabi ng diretso. Pero what is clear is that there's that commitment by the state, no, having ratified that convention, no. So at this point, siguro political nga yung solution doon. I mean, pakita natin na may ganong obligasyon, dapat ipatupad. Pag hindi ipinatupad through laws and through policies, then dapat may repercussion yon, at least electorally. Yun yung ideal, no? Mahirap man, pero ganun siguro talaga.
Sir, medyo kakambyo ko lang konti. I'll change topics a bit, pero still election related. I want to ask you about ayuda. Bakit ayuda at saka election? Anong kinalaman? Sa Pilipinas tayo eh. So, usually, nakukonek yan ng maraming tao, especially mga politiko. Pero sir, we've seen how AKAP and AIX have become election issues, at least how they appear to be abused by some politicians, especially by some legislators. I mean, you do a simple Google search ng AKAP payout and AIX payout, makikita mo puro mga congressman at senador nagdidispute ng ayuda eh. I'm wondering, sir, is there anything in our laws, whether election laws or whatnot, which could regulate the misuse of ayuda and such things by candidates or by people who are running for public office? I ask you that kasi we talked to Comelec Chairman George Garcia mga 2 weeks ago, and sabi niya pagbabawal na nila yung pagpunta ng mga politiko sa pagbibigay ng ayuda. Hindi lang klaro sa amin kung ano gagamitin yung batas. O kung is he just telling us what we want to hear. So
Hindi, yun yung usapan nila with DSWD.
Yeah. No, pero he was also saying he was also saying na madi-disqualify yung mga yan. Major yun. Hindi lang DSWD yun.
During the campaign period.
Yeah, the campaign period.
During the campaign period, oo.
So, sir,
pero yung sa AKAP, yun yung usapan kasi humingi ng exemption ng DSWD, di ba?
Yeah.
yung distribution, pinayagan nila.
And the COMELEC naman, I think, has that authority to exempt it. Pero nga, is there anything that COMELEC can use, any law that prevents, that can make COMELEC prevent? Ito kasi sabi ni George Garcia, pagbabawalan nila mga politiko mamigay, pagbabawalan nila mga politikong mag-appear sa mga payout venues ng AKAP at AIX, pagbabawalan nila mga tarpaulin ng mga politiko sa AKAP AIX payout. They all sound good, but is there anything legally that they can enforce as far as that is concerned?
Okay, unang-una yung election code natin, section 261, merong provision doon that prohibits the use of government resources. Ibig sabihin, pera, equipment, transportation, building for partisan political purposes. So ito yung incumbent ka, ginagamit mo yung pondo ng gobyerno, yung kasangkapan ng gobyerno sa pangangampanya, no? At meron ding isa pang provision na pinagbabawal yung release of public funds. Number one, for public works, no? Pero may exception doon for social services at for yung housing projects, no? Pero dito sa mga dito sa provision na to, pwedeng magbigay ng exemption ang COMELEC, no? Dito usually ang basihan sa exemption diyan, kailangan talaga, hindi maiiwasan, at pangalawa, basta hindi kasama sa pangangampanya. Ngayon, sa aking pagkakaalala doon sa resolution na nilalabas ng COMELEC dito, nakalagay doon sa kondisyon na hindi dapat naandoon yung politiko sa actual distribution o sa pagbibigay. No, parang ganun yun usually. Otherwise, pwedeng i-revoke ng COMELEC yung exemption na yon. Oo. At kung makita kung masama ka dito sa mga makitahan na gumawa ng ganito, pwede kang ma-disqualify as a candidate. Pero tama rin si Ami doon sa pag-emphasize na bawal lang yon 45 days before election. No, hindi siya applicable before the election, yung batas na yon. But even then, gusto ko lang emphasize na itong rule na to ay batas. Ibig sabihin, kung may ilalabas na batas that will overturn this election law, mawawalang bisa din. Diba? Kasi yung kapangyarihan ng COMELEC, yung authority to enforce that provision of the law, is also sourced from a law. So kung may later law na papalitan yon at papayagan, baka mabawasan ang kapangyarihan ng COMELEC para magpatupad.
Pero nagkaroon na nga ng kontrobersya dyan dahil nga doon sa criticism of the AKAP Palagay ko hindi naman siguro sila magpapasa ng batas na no. Ang pinag-uusapan ngayon ng mga tao, paano itutulak sa stage yung mga magpapapil-papil dyan ng mga politician
Itutulak
Hindi naman
pababa ng
siguro
stage,
nila
hindi bakit ng
institutionalized.
stage.
Ganun yung mangyari. So, pag may ganun, nag-appear siguro, tatanggalin yung exemption ng COMELEC at baka maging
Yes.
managot sila. Dalawang pwedeng implikasyon. Criminal case, no? Criminal violation of election law yun Or disqualification sa pagpapatuloy ng pagiging kandidato.
Sir, if
May
you don't mind...
lusot ba yan sa, halimbawa sa wording, dun sa streamer? Halimbawa, may streamer lang announcing the event, distribution ng AKAP or AIX. Tapos, meron lang picture ng isang kandidato, saka
Pagkalaki-laki.
saka pangalan.
Larger
yun lang.
than life.
Yun lang, ganun lang. Basta nandun lang siya sa announcement, wala naman siya sinasabing, wala kahit anong message, basta nandun siya.
Hindi niya sinasabi na galing sa kanya yung pera mismo. Ganun lang para yung pagkalaki-laki ng
Announcing
tarpaulin o kaya sa LED wall pagbumuka niya nandun, tapos AX payout o AKAP payout.
Oo, ayan, pwede ba yan?
Kung ako, gagamitin ko yung rule yung sa sinasabi ng rule or weight of evidence necessary for an administrative case. Kasi yung disqualification, administrative case. Sabi lang, substantial evidence. That which a reasonable man will believe na siya nga yun at nagka-campaign siya using that money. Kung may ganong klaseng level of evidence based on yung kinuwento nyo nga, pasok siya. Kasi ano pa ba yung nandoon yung muka at the same time na nagdi-distribute ng ayuda, ika nga. But dapat pasok din yon sa campaign period para pasok doon sa prohibition.
Pero sir, kung sabihin natin pilosopo sila, sabihin nila na hindi, FYI yan para sa taong bayan, para alam nila na may AIX payout.
Information.
Kaya, oo, information dissemination yan para sa bayan.
Would a reasonable man believe him?
Well, they
Ganun
elect
lang
him.
naman yan. Sometimes titingnan natin sa korte, no? Kung paano i-appreciate yan o sa COMELEC, ano? Hindi kasi mabigat yung weight of evidence kung disqualification yung pinag-uusapan. Pero siguro criminal, pag sinampan siya ng criminal case, baka pwede siyang magpalusot doon.
Ibang kandidato, sabi nila, kung wala daw wording dun sa campaign sa material nila na vote for me or any self-aggrandizing message, lusot daw sila. Kaya in fact ngayon, ang dami-dami namin nakikitang Merry Christmas. Tapos na, tagal-tagal na Merry Christmas. Naglalabasan yung Merry Christmas ngayon.
Akala mo nagkaroon ng Pasko dahil sa kanila, no?
Wala bang batas dyan? Tagalog has to stop that.
Admittedly, it will become parang siguro nasa gray area pag gano'n, ano. Kaya lang ang essence kasi ng campaigning, promoting the election or defeat of a candidate. So ano ba ibig sabihin nun? Bakit nandun yung muka? Kailangan mo bang sabihin iboto ako para makita yung intent to promote the election o to promote his election or her election, di ba? Sa akin, kung mukhang pangangampanya nga yun. Bakit siya yun nandun? Bakit hindi yung lola niya o yung nanay niya? Kasi hindi tumatakbo yung nanay niya at lola niya. Diba? I mean, kuminsan masyado natin tinitechnical yung obvious.
Holiday goodwill. Halimbawa, magcha-Chinese New Year. I'm expecting a lot of streamers saying, Happy Chinese New Year na naman yan. Maglalabasan na naman yan.
Well,
Hindi ko pwedeng mapigilan yon.
Well, ibalik natin sa kwan. Siguro naman, wala din naman talagang bawal sa kung magandang lalaki ka, i-advertise mo yung sarili mo everywhere. No?
Kailangan magbayad ka ng advertisement, di ba? May
Ngayon,
advertising fee yan.
kung sinama yan sa kwan, kung sinama yan, let's say, sa ayuda o sa bigayan ng ayuda o may reference doon sa ayuda during the campaign period, baka magkaroon ng problema yon doon sa kandidato.
Okay. I'd like to say thank you very much kay former Commissioner Louie Tito Guia ng dati nasa COMELEC. Now I think he's with the Democratic Insights Group. Tama ba, sir? DIG.
Tama.